The PS3 is a console that I had owned back when it was released. I set out to find a used PS3 unit. When I inspected the unit up closer after unpacking, I was kind of okay with it. It just looked a bit dirty. Then I took an even closer look. It was crammed with stuff that looked like, I don't know, dust, hay and pulverized Cheeto sprinkles. I mean, if the outside looked like this, what would the insides look like? Well, let's have a look. As in this video, I will refurbish, restore, and eventually customize this PlayStation unit, making it as good as factory new. But first, I wanted to test out the unit, to even see if it worked. It turns on and gives the setup screen. I went to the menu and saw that the previous owner left a disc copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare inside this unit. Thanks for the free game, mate. Now to test out a real manly man's game instead, which worked nicely. Now when I turned on the unit, I noticed it could hardly get rid of its airflow. This problem occurs when the fan inside is full of dust and the CPU cooling paste is non-existent. I began opening the unit and removed the hard drive screw. Opening the hard drive flap on the front was kinda tricky as it becomes stuck after all those years, and opening it up revealed a major problem as why. I gotta be dead honest, I have never came across such a filthy console. I simply think this is a mixture of dust, cat hair, and chipped wood or something. Super gross. Even the hook to lift out the hard drive was hidden away behind all this nastiness. It's a miracle this console even wanted to show me that it has a will to live. Time to clean it up a bit so I can even see what's going on around here. I proceed in opening up the console further. Since I don't have the appropriate torque screw, I'm using a tiny flathead here, which works just as fine, as long as you tread carefully. There's this one screw hidden beneath the warranty sticker. What a sneak. Time to review what's inside, and surprise! Well, I wasn't expecting any less, that's for sure. I can tell for 100% that the previous owner did not care about this console at all. Even the Blu-ray drive has the same filth on the disc insert. Since I don't want this stuff flying all over the place, I start vacuuming it to get the big parts out of the way. Same goes for the top cover, and also the hard drive cage. With the first round of cleaning done, I dismantled the power supply unit to make a first dive into the console. The same dirt has been sucked up into the ventilation here as well as on the motherboard a bit. Time to vacuum some more. The funny thing is, I never know if this trick works. I just like how the fan spins all around at full speed. I dismantle it because it is one of the more important things to clean out. At this point, it doesn't suck in clean air because of all the filth. I also use a wet tissue to get more of that filth out. I use a screwdriver to get to the harder to reach places and remove chunks of dirt. Cleaning the fan can be a bit tricky. I use the wet tissue to remove the dirt instantly, but use the screwdriver to get in the narrow spacing of the fan blades. I eventually used up 5 tissues to get all the dirt out and an air pressure can for leftovers. Let's clean up that PSU a bit. Time to further delve into that unit for more cleaning. I take out the Blu-ray drive, which is held together by one screw and surrounded by multiple cables and tape. I vacuum once more, then take out the front button bridge, unscrew the hard drive cage to the screws that hold the top shielding plate to the motherboard. Taking out the shielding plus motherboard reveals the bottom plate of the console and more dirt. Using a vacuum takes care of the initial cleanup, but we'll get to more extensive cleaning later on, as long as the main filth is taken care of. Removing the power pass-through brick here, and these pyramids. I have no other description that hold the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth cables in place. Now delving into the motherload here, the bottom shielding for the motherboard unscrews with many different screws. These hold the pressure tight towards the CPU and motherboard, so the cooling paste can do its job. The bottom shielding is held together with simple Phillips head screws. Remove these and you're good to go. And up goes the top shield, revealing the motherboard in its entirety, as well as the caked up CPU paste that has been crusty for almost 15 years. The dirt has also found its way onto the motherboard, as you can see. Let's clean this up. I vacuum a bit above the motherboard so as to not damage any components. I then brush off remaining dirt and blast away the last parts with an air pressure can. I do the same things with the top shield. Time to clean that CPU and GPU unit with a tissue dipped in alcohol. Doing the same here on the top shield. Another round of air pressure to make sure it's clean before I apply new paste. Since I'm done with cleaning out the motherboard, I reassemble it back together as much as I can. And as long as I'm here, I might as well replace that internal battery with a fresh one. Let's also upgrade this thing. I bought a Patriot P210 512GB SSD to upgrade that 120GB traditional platter drive. Not only will make this a drive with a bigger volume, but it will also speed up loading times a bit, running games from the SSD. It will also make a difference when it comes to noise reduction. Another thing of importance is cleaning out the power supply unit. This thing is just as filthy as the rest. An important component that needs a bit of love as well. I air pressure it to start off, then use that brush to get to the hard to reach places. Same goes for the top plastic cover. Cleaning out the Blu-ray drive here. While the bottom and sides are doable, the front is truly a work of art when it comes to filth in your face. Remember how it looked when we started? Here you go. I set aside all the clean parts and start with sanding the plastic parts of the unit to prepare it for the paint job. As always, I use a sanding paper of the lightest category, just enough so the prime coat fills up the scratches. I prepped a bucket with cleaning deterrent and placed the sanded parts into it. I let it soak for a while, turn it around and let the deterrent do its thing. Now it's time to rinse off the dirt with some cleaning by hand. When everything has dried up, I remove the only sticker on the console, which is the serial number 1. With a hot air dryer, the glue weakens and I can peel it off. Time for the fun part, giving it its new looks. I prime the plastics with multiple coats. As always, I advise this to do in an open space, or if you have a small space, to use protective gears for your lungs. When dried up and reassembled, I reapply final protective pads back to the bottom of the unit. So here's the initial look. It's a tight gray color, just as I wanted it to be. It's truly been refurbished, cleaned out extensively, fresh cooling paste, and a new coat to top it off. No more dirt in those tiny holes and I/O ports. I left the back PSU plate black on purpose. Let's move on to the last part. For the final touch, I once again divert to Mini Munchies and her cry-cut machine. If you ever want fine printer decals, take a look at her page, which prompts here on screen. This is the PlayStation 3 20th Anniversary Edition. Well, not legit, but my own version. I was always a big fan of the PS4 version, but now I have my own PS3 one. With this mod, I saved another PS3 from going to the scrap heap and giving it a boost with a second life. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it and want to see more, check out the playlist where I refurbish and customize more retro consoles. Hit that like button, subscribe, all those things, and leave a comment on what you think of this console. And I'll see you on the next one.